listening to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You're joined by your usual hosts, Josh Hartley, Ben Porter and Charlotte Porter.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing well.
All right.
Enjoying the sun.
Yes.
It's been about 20 degrees.
Someone was
Glasgow.
telling me that it was warmer in Glasgow than Ibiza today.
Well, my folks are in Telford, and apparently it was bucketing today. So
Delightful.
So I was winding my dad up, like, it was so hot here, I had to water your plants for you, Just to,
How'd he take
plants?
just to make him feel a bit better.
How'd he take
All
that?
our plants will die.
He wasn't too pleased. But,
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Al.
Yeah. You always feel better when...
He would be doing the same to you, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
So, we've got quite a bit to cover today. So this is going to be the last episode we record before the big UK Games Expo.
For the biggie.
So I think we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about what we're looking forward to seeing at the convention. We've also got another little bit of bits and pieces of news to chat about.
Yes, we do.
But we've got a shout out.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our latest Patreon, a Mr. Tom Mannering,
Yes.
who attentive listeners will know he's been on the show twice.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Mr. Mannering. I almost called him Captain Mannering there, but he just out of Dad's Army reference.
Yes.
Everyone's going to think that he's paying us to come on the show now.
I'm open to the idea of receiving money to get people on the show. So there we go.
Yeah. On a more serious note, now that we're I think through the Patreon we're taking in about $50 a month.
Yep.
Which is way more
Than we ever
It's
imagined.
$50 more than I ever imagined.
So because of that, we've added some more goals
Yeah.
to the Patreon. So if you're maybe dithering about backing us, maybe have a look at the goals and see if you could get behind some of them. I think one of the goals we've got, which is quite far off, is that if we can take in some more money, Charlotte could reduce her hours at her day job to do a bit more work on Unlucky Frog.
Even more. I've already reduced my hours at work
Yeah.
to be able to focus on the podcast. So I think it's $200 we set that at.
Yeah.
So $200 a month means that I could go down even more, and that way be able to do more work.
Yeah, which in a roundabout way also improves Unlucky Frog as a whole. So if you want to see the channel grow and flourish, the podcast, the blog, all of the stuff that we're working towards, your support, no matter how small it is, helps.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Please give us your money.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
in return, we give you things too.
That was
So that's what it's all about.
Too long did not read version there, Josh.
But our rewards are really good, so we send stuff out to you. Even our minimal payment of $1 gets a shout out on the podcast, and you get immortalised on the wall of fame on the website.
There you go.
Or $10 gets you a t-shirt.
And dice.
as well. And dice. And dice.
And dice. Exactly.
So, there we go.
Yep.
So, thank you again, Tom. And we will... I'll be catching up with him on Tuesday for Pathfinder, so
Yep.
I'll see you then. But now that we've announced that, before we get into the meat of the episode with UK Games Expo, been a little bit of a development with Games Workshop and one of the new products that they're launching.
Yeah.
So Ben, why don't you talk us through that?
Yep, so it's a pretty busy season for Games Workshop at the moment. They're churning out the announcements, which, again, one of the things we've said is that their approach to business and to interacting with their customers has seen a massive turnaround over the past year or so. Most of it due to a change in leadership from the upper echelons of the company, and most of it's been, pretty much all of it's been to the better of to the betterment of the company and the community surrounding these games. But one of the things that they announced quite recently is that they are going to be producing 2 novels for children. And I say children and not young adults, because these novels are going to be aimed at 8 to 12-year-olds specifically. Right. So it's pretty much primary school kids.
Yeah.
They're aiming for with this. They're called Warhammer Adventures, and there's going to be one in the Age of Sigmar setting, and then one in the 40k setting. And unlike the other Warhammer fiction, these stories are going to be told from the perspective of children in each of these respective settings. And from what we've seen and what Games Workshop have said, the desired outcome from this is that they can engage children in the hobby in a way that is suitable to them. Because, don't know if you've read any of the Black Library books, not for kids.
No, I didn't think a book all about fascism and war would be for children.
They were saying, which I thought was quite funny on the article where they announced this release, that as good as the Horus Heresy is, they can see how parents would be a bit reluctant to have their children read that, because it is a story about 9 sons destroying their dad's empire.
Yeah, that concerning to parents from a number of different angles.
Yeah.
So what's been the fan reaction to this?
Mixed. That's pretty much the response to every Games Workshop announcement, to be fair.
Aye.
It is the hobby that fans love to hate. So a lot of it's expected, like a lot of people were like, oh, they're watering down the hobby and all this, because of course... Was that
your neckbeard voice?
No,
there?
my neckbeard voice, but they're watering down the hobby.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, a bit more nasal, I think.
Okay.
I think the gravelier voice I did before gives them a bit too much credit.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So a lot of it's the standard criticism of people moaning about it being, the hobby's going to get watered down, or and like some people have reacted to it in quite a tongue-in-cheek way. They took the meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. On the one hand, you've got on the plate, the text says a new way for new customers to interact with the hobby, and then the guy throwing the pasta is existing Games Workshop fans.
Yeah.
And then they just launch it across the room, not interested in it. So that's been a fairly expected reaction to it. It's like we say that I do think that they are a minority, those people, but they're
a
very
vocal minority,
very, very vocal minority. But one of the reactions that I hadn't quite anticipated, if I'm being truthful, people have raised concerns, particularly about the 40k setting, because for anyone that's not familiar with the 40k setting, everyone's a bastard in 40k.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a good guy in that universe. I mean, basically, the de facto good guys, the Space Marines, are actually armies of eugenics, space Nazis.
Yeah, the Imperium of Man. I mean, if you look at the commissars, the officers in the Imperial Guard. They've got skulls on the peaked caps and everything. They're
space Nazis. Everyone's a nasty person. Maybe not appropriate for kids then?
That seems to be what some people are arguing.
I don't know. Like, we were talking about this before we came on the podcast, and the comparison I immediately jumped to was, and albeit I think these books are aimed at maybe slightly older, maybe more like the 10 to 14-year-olds, but the Hunger Games books, right? That is a series of books that is about a weekend-long fight to the death of children, and there's a totalitarian regime in there, and a brutally totalitarian regime in there to boot as well.
Well, the thing that I raised on that was actually, because obviously we don't know what the stories are going to look like quite yet.
No.
We don't know how they're going to play out. Now, obviously, in the Hunger Games, the lead of the book takes down the regime.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers!
God, I was looking forward to that bit as well.
Don't think that's going to be happening.
No,
Warhammer
yeah,
Adventures,
I don't
to
think
be
a bunch of
able to
8-year-olds
see-
are going to
no,
take down the
but to be
Imperium
able to
Man.
see what it's like to live, like
Yeah.
to take it from the everyday view of an everyday person living under this regime, living,
And it's a fair point, isn't it? Because there are a number of stories that have approached life in Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And there are accounts of German officers and soldiers that stuck their neck out
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to help people as much as they could
Yep.
under the boot of the regime. And I guess just because the Imperium of Man is an evil institution doesn't necessarily mean that every character under it is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
So, at the same time, though, it doesn't necessarily mean that what we could be getting here with these books is two separate canons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comics have done it plenty. I mean, Disney have done it with the Avengers, because you've got like the big, goofy, heroic proportion, cartoony Avengers, and then you've got the really dark, sinister stuff that happens in those movies.
Yeah. You've also in Games Workshop do it already. Where you've got the Age of Sigmar universe, and you've got the Blood Bowl fantasy universe, where differences are settled by American football,
which always was an alternate version of the old
yes.
world. I mean, the teams have the same names as a lot of the settlements in the old world.
The other thing about appropriateness for children that we did raise as well was Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah.
They're pretty dark.
There's an old woman who lives in a forest who eats kids. Pretty nasty.
That's not to say that because the Brothers Grimm put what they did into children's stories that should be used as a benchmark for what's appropriate. It definitely shouldn't.
No.
Because one of the other things, I don't know if anyone knows this, but Rapunzel actually falls pregnant in the original story.
Oh.
And can't fit back into her dress. So there's a whole...
So, do we know when these books are even coming out yet?
I think they're shooting for next year.
Okay.
This is a very early announcement. It's written... The authors that are working on them have previously worked on the Star Wars franchise.
Right. That's another example of a franchise that has loads of an entire spectrum of tone.
Yeah.
Right? And appeals to people of all ages.
Yeah, you've got religious extremists in there. Mm-hmm. You've got another fascist regime in there.
Lots of space Nazis.
I thought
all
you were
different
referring to the fans. I was so confused there for a minute.
No, although
I was like, yeah, okay.
Anyway,
right, okay.
Jar Jar Binks shouldn't be exposed to anyone ever.
Yeah, and he's in kids' stories.
Yeah. So think of that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
So I think, but on a more serious note, I think that I do think there's a lot of overreaction at the moment. It's still early days. We need to see what they come out with. By all means, if you've got concerns, talk about them. We'd love to hear from you, whatever you think about this. But I really don't see it being a problem.
Well, the other thing that I've seen on Twitter actually is the total opposite, where I've seen a lot of people quite excited that it gives them a medium to be able to engage with their kids.
Yeah.
Something that they can share the hobby with, through. And that's, that they find that really exciting. And
that's the bottom line. There's a lot of children who play this hobby.
Yeah.
So if anything, I'm surprised they haven't done books marketed to them already.
I'm actually a bit annoyed at just how much some people underestimate the intelligence of children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Children are impressionable, but when we were talking about this before we came on the podcast, adults are impressionable as well.
Yep. The average kid's probably smarter than me. So there we go.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my parents about this sort of thing. Like, getting off topic a little bit for a minute here. I think by the time you're 12, as much as it would be nice if you didn't have to know about all these bad things that happen in the world, you're going to high school, and if you don't hear it from your parents first, you're going to hear it when you're in high school, in the playground, off of an older kid, or your creepy little friend that everyone had.
We all had one.
Yeah, everyone had
that.
Like that burned porn onto DVDs for everyone else.
That wasn't my friend. I don't know.
It wasn't my friend, but like he was a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
And he was burning porn onto CD-ROMs for everyone.
Charlotte's not impressed. If you can't tell by that silence, Charlotte is not impressed. But we need to chat about UK Games Expo. So we put up our little preview blog.
Yep.
That we worked on, and this kind of covers like the things that we're most excited about. But I mean, for you guys, what are going to be the highlights? Do you think?
I know for me, like, if I'm honest, I really want to just experience the whole thing. And I know that seems a bit of a cop out, but I have no idea what to expect myself. All I've heard is from other people.
Yeah.
And it just seems to have blown my mind already. So I can't wait to just go and be open to the experience. So there were a couple of people that we did miss at AirCon that I made a point of reaching out to say, look, we're going to be here. We never saw you. I think actually we didn't get to go to Sinister Fish because I Play Red. We're all over them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to get in there first and Kat can get in the queue.
Yeah.
There we are. Yeah, I really want to try Villagers. I mean, it combines, as I said in the blog, combines two things. I love drafting and making money.
Yep.
I love both in games. Well, I'm kind of partial to making money in real life as well, but who isn't?
Can you draft in real life?
I don't know how that would work. I suppose that's like PE, like where you've got the team captain and then they take the draft of the rest of the kids. Except I was always last.
Oh.
It's how a lot of the American sports teams,
The NFL have the draft.
players,
I'd pick you first, Josh.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't.
That
But it'd be a pity pick.
probably fair. What? Don't pity pick me.
I'm joking.
Kick him while he's down.
I know. I'm just feeling sad now. Guys, I can't do this episode anymore.
Right, let's try and cheer you up. What are you excited for?
What am I excited for? So, I really want to catch up with Paizo.
Yeah.
I really want to see what they've been... Well, what they've released recently has been Starfinder. This is the science fiction role-playing game that they've developed and released. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Really want to see what that's like and give it a go. What I'm most intrigued about is Pathfinder 2. And this is going to be the first event in the UK where you can get a chance to give it a go as well. So I'm intrigued to see what's different, you know.
Not just what's different from the previous iteration of Pathfinder, but what they're doing to further distinguish it from D&D, I think, is what I'm interested in seeing. Especially because D&D has just rocketed in popularity over the
fifth
past
edition, has really boosted it a lot. So the Paizo guys, I'm really interested to see a lot that I'm intrigued. Like I don't know whether I'm going to like it or not, but it sounds really interesting.
You're just like,
yes. So Warhammer, this French start. Forgive me, guys, if you're not a startup company, but my understanding is that they're just getting started with this product, and what they've done is they've developed a board game console.
Right.
So if you picture, it looks a bit like an iPad, a tablet computer. So it's got like a LCD screen, touch interface, but what it also has are peripherals that work with it. So you've got like pawns, cards, a dice that all work together with it. And the idea is that you buy this console and it comes loaded, or you'll be able to buy and download additional board games. And the reason... I found it interesting because the inspiration behind it was these guys, their children, were not as engaged with board games anymore. They just wanted to play on their iPads. So they thought, right, well, why don't we try and cross the streams, if you will.
Don't cross the streams.
No, except maybe this stream. These streams maybe should be crossed.
That's good then.
So for me though, it's going to rest on two things. One, will it actually work?
Yeah.
Because for each really good bit of new tech,
will Monopoly be preloaded on it?
Well, I think they've developed their own games so far, like to demonstrate it.
Yeah. That's a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
No one cares about that.
No. Monopoly.
Some people do, Ben. Some people do.
Some people need to play a better game. Like Chinatown, for instance.
Chinatown's amazing.
Yeah.
We can talk about Chinatown till the cows come home. But, yes, the second thing for me will be price. Right, because it's a neat idea.
Yeah.
But if this thing's going to cost £500, then I'm out.
Yeah.
Right. If it's costing $250, I think I'm out at that point as well, to be frank. So, what Warhammer are bringing to UK Games Expo are the prototypes. Okay. They're not selling any. I don't even think they've announced a price yet or anything like that. But this is just a proof of concept, I suppose. So I'm really interested to try that out and see how well they've developed that and how well it blurs the lines between board game and video game.
Yeah. Well, along those blurring lines, one of the things I think I'm most excited for is Age of Sigmar Champions.
Yes.
As a massive fan of the Age of Sigmar IP, right away it's grabbed my interest. But I do love a collectible card game, and I think the fact that they're not just letting you play this online, they've got some pretty spectacular animations where you, like in the little video that we saw, you had like the dudes actually like climbing up out of the cards.
Yeah. Which is really neat.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see how that plays, and I think we should hopefully.
What again? The other thing that's intrigued me is they're very thin on detail at the moment, and I think UK Games Expo is going to be one of their big reveals. Yeah, basically. So interesting.
Well, they are hosting a sort of dedicated press release, aren't they?
So it's going to be interesting seeing that as well.
I suppose as well on the further down this line of technology is Geek and Son will be showcasing their new tables with the screens.
I've seen them,
I'm quite
amazing.
excited because I know that when we were talking, when we got to play on a Geek and Son table recently, we were talking about, what if it had this, what if it had that, could you do this, could you do that, and then lo and behold,
they've done it. They've only gone and done it.
Only just gone and done it.
Yeah.
So I'm quite excited to see that.
They look absolutely stunning, those tables as well.
They are very expensive.
Yeah, I was just about to say I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one. But maybe.
Maybe one day.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe that could be our next Patreon goal.
Buy us a Geek and Son table. Sure, why not?
Why not?
I'm sure people will love that their money's all going towards
it could have our logo on it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, sold.
Yeah, or Geek and Son.
Yeah.
I suppose the other thing that I'm really looking forward to is we're all quite excited for this new edition of Age of Sigmar. They've got some awesome new models coming out for it. You know, like they've got the new Stormcast wizards and the paladins, and then you've got all this amazing new Night Haunt stuff that they're bringing out as well. But Games Workshop are the main sponsor for this year.
So they're one of the main three, because I think Catan are one of the other ones as well.
I think considering the fact that the UK Games Expo is, I think, officially the third biggest analog gaming show in the world now.
Yeah, so behind Adepticon and Essen.
Behind Essen and Gen Con.
Gen Con, I beg your pardon. Yeah.
So you would think, surely to goodness, that is a prime opportunity for them to reveal some new stuff.
Maybe the contents of the box set that they will inevitably release.
Box set, and then I think quite possibly also some brand new announcements that haven't even been hinted at. I think we're probably going to hear a bit more news about Shadespire here as well, because I dare say they're planning to adopt that living rule set approach that they have to 40k in Age of Sigmar, and we're going to see new war bands and new rules coming out for that all the time. So I'm excited to see that. I'm also really looking forward to seeing village attacks.
Yeah.
Because this was one that I saw on Kickstarter a while back, but I just wasn't in a position to back it. And it was that way where I saw it at the time and I thought it was a really cool idea, playing the sort of hammer horror monsters trying to defend your den from the mob of villagers. Yeah, that's such a cool idea.
And you know, the idea that I think is really cool is all the hammer horror monsters living in one house, and like some sort of weird American sitcom.
Horror house.
Like some weird fraternity. Yeah.
Aye. Like Frankenstein just walks in the door and the crowd cheers.
Yeah. Like he'd be like the meathead jock type.
He's
guy,
the Fonz,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Hey. The leather jacket on.
Yeah. There we are.
The vampire would be like the sort of sardonic, dry wit type guy, wouldn't he?
Yeah. There we go.
It's the sort of cynical guy, but you know, you're kind of rooting for him.
Aye, the Chandler Bing, if you will.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Frankenstein's Joey Tribbiani and the
Yeah.
vampires Chandler Bing.
Living in a flat together.
Why
It's
not?
amazing.
Why not?
Yeah.
Right. New TV series. Let's do
do it.
this.
Yeah. So
Brought to
HBO,
you
if you
by
want to get in touch
Unlucky
with
Fog
us,
Media.
Yeah, there we are.
yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, we can
We can
talk.
pitch ideas, and
Yeah.
you know, I've got 50 more like that.
Yeah,
Just right off the cuff.
can talk all
You know,
day.
don't like them? We can just move on.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know.
Yeah, but really looking forward to that game. Quite a fresh concept, and as I say, it fell off my radar for a long time. Like that way where you see a game and then you forget the name of it and all that,
Yeah.
and you're trying to describe it to people. It's like, I saw this thing about 6 months ago and it looked really cool, and you could play as a vampire and you're defending your home, but I can't remember what it was called. And then it just pops up
Yeah.
again, and I'm like, oh great, and it's coming to retail soon, so I'm really excited to play that one.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely going to give that a go.
And it's cooperative, which we love.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Speaking of cooperative, the new Fallout game
Yes.
is going to be there as
yeah,
well.
so this is an interesting one because it's quite unlike a lot of the other miniatures games, in that there's several different ways to play it, several different game modes. I think it's been designed with an emphasis on campaign play.
Yes.
And as you say, there's apparently rules to play it cooperatively. There's like full AI rules, and you can essentially build a settlement.
That's cool.
From the stuff that you accrue
Yeah.
throughout the campaign, and then you're working, and then you've got this sort of tower defense mode. Of course, it all sounds great. It's all going to be in the execution though.
Yes.
So I'm really interested to see how that plays out. I love the Fallout IP, love that universe, and the models for this game look fantastic.
Yeah, very true to the source material as well.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm not. I've never really played the Fallout games, but I know they have a massive following already. So this, in theory, should be a hit, right?
Yeah.
But like you say, all in the execution.
Yeah, and I think the same goes for the Song of Ice and Fire.
You beat me
miniatures
too.
one.
I was just going to segue into that
Ah,
myself.
yeah, I love a segue.
Yeah.
Race to the segue.
But that again, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Cool mini or not, behind it, we've got the starter pack is going to be Lannisters versus Starks.
Yep, I think they've already
You've backed it.
I have backed it, so it should be on our way. We should be getting our copy in August, I think.
Yeah.
It has been delayed a bit, but I don't mind that so much if it means that the quality is going to be better. But they've allegedly already got plans to do the next box set, which is going to be the Night's Watch versus the Wildlings,
Yeah, that sounds cool.
which is
That
it's
sounds
another interesting one. Again, stunning looking miniatures. We've been chatting to a couple of people that have managed to play it already, and I think they said that the non-combat stuff is a bit strange.
Yeah,
Some
well,
of
it's
the
very
thing-
different,
Yeah.
isn't it?
One of the things I heard is that Cersei Lannister brings back dead fighters.
Not sure how that works,
Well,
like flavour-wise.
Well, yeah. Gregor Clegane.
Did she do that though?
Well, under her authority.
Okay, aye, all right.
But at the same time,
Charlotte worked it out. We got
yeah, okay, very good.
the.
Giving us a showing up.
But I'm looking forward to giving that a go as well.
Yeah, again, they're trying something a little bit different with the non-combat units. But I've thought about this, and essentially, the non-combat units, is that not really like command abilities and spells in Age of Sigmar?
Maybe. I don't know quite how it's gonna
Yeah.
Play out.
play. Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. If nothing else, it's nice to see Game of Thrones minis.
Yes. And I'm inevitably going to be playing the Lannisters.
Yeah.
Because I'm blonde haired and I'm a bit of a prick. so, you know.
Yeah, no argument from me there.
There we are.
Yeah.
There we are. Rightio. So, I think maybe just to wrap up, I'm going to repeat my cheesy end note from my blog. In that, the one I think I'm probably going to be most excited about is the one I'm not expecting.
Oh,
Oh, don't do
So
that. Come
wanky.
on. That's not wanky at all. What are you on about? It's true.
No, I'm joking.
But it is true. Like,
It's cheesy, but it's true.
It almost always, whenever we go at these things, it's the game I'd never heard a thing about,
Yep.
and then I show it, I see it, and it just grabs my attention.
Football Rivals.
Football Rivals was the example I used.
Look at
Yeah.
the Glasgow Games Festival. It was Spyfall for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that had just come out at Essen.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to, and just catching up with some people that we've.
We're going to be entering the Shadespire Grand Clash.
Oh, we are. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
mention that. Please go easy on us.
Yeah, probably this because I think this will be the first proper organised play thing.
I'm gonna get my teeth kicked in.
Yeah,
I just know it.
yeah.
You will know us by our t-shirts, but also by our now oversized hoodies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a bit big.
I haven't tried mine on yet. Like, how big?
They're not too, but they're just fairly
Comfy. Okay.
We want them to be comfy because
Yeah.
we're going to be spending a lot of time in them.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. True. So yes, if you see yourself across the table from a chap in the Unlucky Frog t-shirt, please spare us.
Be gentle.
Be gentle. And on that weird note,
Yeah.
we're going to draw this episode to a close. So, guys, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully we'll see you at UK Games
Yes.
Expo.
UK Games Eskimo.
Eskimo. The UK Games Eskimo.
UK Games Escapade.
Yeah, the Expo, if you will. The UK Games Expo. Otherwise, we will catch you next time. Thanks for listening, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Finessed as always.
Yeah.
We are Unlucky Frog Gaming, and I am Ben. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Unlucky Frog Gaming. You can also show your support by giving us money through the Unlucky Frog Patreon. And be sure to check out our website, unluckyfrog.com, to find out more.